final storyteller tonight is the golden retriever on espresso of sex education, Reid Mihalko!
It's full of stars. I don't know where this piece of hair came from. That was amazing. I highly recommend that. Hello, everyone! Okay. So, slippery slope. Okay, so I was racking my brain to come up with something really great for a slippery slope, and then I realized that I have a story about squirting. And, like, many years ago, before I turned into the golden retriever on espresso of sex education, like, I was just kind of a dorky, you know, if you've ever seen Salt and Pepper's None of Your Business video, shot in the early 90s, like, I'm the cowboy in the end of that video. And like I was just large then, larger, and roar! And then just kind of like, hi, would you, and let's sleep together, roar, let's have sex. And I hadn't really quite had my slutty awakening. I was very promiscuous, but I hadn't like dialed it all in yet. And I definitely hadn't gone pro. And so the first I'd heard about squirting, I'd seen it a little bit on the interwebs, and then, you know, I'm going down on a friend. I'm a very passionate enthusiast of cunnilingus. I'm going down on my friend, and like while I'm doing my thing, and I'm like in there, and I'm like, "Errrr," and if you're eating pussy and your eyelashes aren't wet, you're doing it wrong. And I'm in there and I'm doing my thing, and for me, you know, I teach a lot of different classes. I teach like an energetic sex for pragmatists workshop, where it's all about like tuning in into nuanced, you know, either energy, whether it exists or not. We know placebo effect exists, and that's measurable. So I don't really need things to be real to partake. And while I'm eating my friend out, I kind of hear this sound, this like, and I'm like, and then all of a sudden, she comes and just gushes all like over my face, and I'm like, whoa! And in my head, I'm like, cool! This is amazing! And she's like, oh my God, that's never happened before. And I'm like, no, this is cool. Like, relax. Can we do it again? And we couldn't. We couldn't do it again. So now, like, fast forward, like, this is like a year and a half. I'm eating out another friend. I'm like, it's the sound again. I know what this is. I'm ready now. And I'm like, in my head now, I'm thinking about this. I'm like, okay, so like, if this is what it is, if I'm hearing the right sound, like, you know like how animals like kind of know there's an earthquake coming? I'm like, I think I know what this is. Like, this might be the squirting thing. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, of all the times lovers of mine, while giving me a blowjob, and I announce, I think it is polite to announce, I'm about to come. You should announce that kind of thing. And not like a, I'm about to come, where they don't necessarily hear you, like, no, I'm about to come. So people have choice, informed choice. And I'm thinking about all the times that like lovers of mine have been blowing me, and then they swallow. And how, like, for me, it's like, that's a very nice thing. Thank you. That was kind. That was very kind. And I've never been with people who squirted, but I'm like, and I'm like, I am going to swallow. That is a good thing. This is going to be my returning the favor. Because I don't really get to return the favor in cunnilingus in this way. And the last time the person squirted, it was, you know, there was squirt, but it wasn't, you know, I'm like, I can get that into my mouth. I was not prepared. My lover comes, I lock on, and it's like, you know, like in an action movie where they're running down like a sewer, you know, tunnel or something, or that Sylvester Stallone movie where he's trapped in the tunnel between New York and New Jersey. It was a fucking flood. And I'm like, this is gonna be embarrassing if it just starts squirting out of the side of my mouth or something like that. And I'm like, oh. I figured I returned about 100 favors right there. And that warm feeling. And I'm like, wow. And of course, like, you know, my lover is like, oh my God. And I had to like kind of pop my head up and pretend like I meant to do all of that. And I'm like, can we do that again? Fast forward a couple of years now, my partner, Allison Moon, my primary partner, the author of Girl Sex 101, doesn't know how to squirt. And a really good friend of mine, another amazing sex educator, Tallulah Sulis, who was running a squirting workshop. And she's like, Reid, come to the squirting workshop. I'm like, okay. I'm like, Allison, do you want to come with me? And Allie's like, I don't know if I can squirt. And I'm like, well, let's go see. It's, you know, Tallulah's awesome. Let's go see this workshop. There's this whole long day thing. And we're, you know, doing things, and there's demos, and I'm just geeking out on the teaching aspect of it. And Allison's like, I don't know. And then towards the end of the day, we all kind of pair off and make our little nests. And Allie's there with her legs splayed open and doing little finger techniques. And Tallulah's kind of leading us through the whole thing. And then Allie's like, you know, kind of getting towards where she's gonna be squirting. And then all of a sudden, off in the distance, and I'm like, oh my God, this might happen. And then all of a sudden, she comes, pushes down the way that we were taught, and then Allison starts squirting. And she's like, holy crap! And I'm like, yes! This is amazing! And when it rains, it pours. Meaning that I start, for some weird reason, dating and hooking up with a lot of people who squirt. And now I've also taken the workshop. And so like now I'm just like, not to kind of be performative, to try to make people squirt, but now it's kind of like, there's kind of like this time and a place when you're doing stuff and you're kind of like, we might be in the neighborhood of squirting. Fast forward. Friend of mine, their wife. Oh, my wife's a squirter. I'm like, I would love to play with you two if ever. You know, I love threesomes. Well, yeah, I guess we could do that. We don't really have threesomes, but Reid, you're the exception. I'm like, awesome. I'm like, and at this point now, Alice and I do a lot of fucking, and I was like squirting on the side of my cock, or squirting on my balls, and I'm like, this is amazing, let's do this. I'm like, bring me your wife who squirts. I wanted to sit on my face, and my friend goes white and goes, never do that with my wife. And I'm like, is that like a boundary of yours? She's like, you will die. And I'm like, what do you mean? And my good friend goes, we call it pussyboarding. I must meet your wife now. So we negotiate this amazing little threesome, which I don't really do very often, so I feel special. My need to feel special is there, and we're having our little threesome, and then it's time. And I'm like, okay, like, how are we gonna do this? And my friend's wife says, well, I'm gonna stand over you. You lie there and just hold your hand up. And I'm like, well, this is kind of unorthodox. Just do that. I'm like, okay. And her wife is up. My friend is kind of cradling my head and stroking my hair. And my friend's wife stands over and basically just kind of starts almost fisting me from above. So I'm amazed. I'm like, wow, I've never done this before. This is amazing. And then all of a sudden, like within like 10, 15 seconds, but louder. And it starts to feel like, and I'm like, oh my God. So I kind of scooch and put my hand like over here, because this is not a good idea to have it above my face. Do you ever see footage of planes that put out forest fires? And she is bugging my hand, and I am mesmerized. And then all of a sudden it's like, it hits my stomach so hard that I go, in all the years of playing with people who squirt, I have never aspirated on somebody's jizz before. And all I could think, as she kept fucking my hand and loaded up for another one, was, oh my God, I am so blessed that this person is not sitting on my face, because I would have drowned. Thanks for tuning in, Sex Geek. If you would like to continue with the brain sex, do me a favor and click subscribe right here. If you'd like to watch me on social media, that's where you're going to go. Next video, maybe? And if you really would like your own Sex Geek t-shirt, please click right here, right now. Boop. No, really, like, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Thanks for tuning in, Sex Geek. If you would like to continue with the brain sex, do me a favor and click subscribe right here. If you'd like to watch me on social media, that's where you're going to go. Next video, maybe? And if you really would like your own Sex Geek t-shirt, please click right here, right now. Boop. No, really, like,